Sportgrossisten.com.
Was tonight's performance good enough? Yeah, you know, it's tough when you're in that position and people are saying he should be next and you don't go in there and finish. And, you know, it's tough. But yeah, there's no doubt. He won the fight. It's like, and I say this all the time, it's like Tiger Woods goes out and wins but doesn't crush everybody. And you're like, you know, he's the best in the world. He still won.
Rory McDonald's got an excellent moment. You were saying the same about John Jones a couple of years ago that you're going to have to take your time with him. Would you put McDonald in now with someone like John Fitch or Thiago Alves and move him up a couple of levels? Because he is literally like a starving animal when he fights in the cage, isn't he?
He's nasty. He's very, very good. But there's, you know, fighting guys who have a lot of experience and who are just as talented as him. There's other factors other than how does he look tonight. You know, so we'll see. We'll see what the next step is for him. He's still a young guy, such a young guy. But there's been a lot of young guys, including John Jones, who win the title at a young age. So.
He doesn't fight like a young guy, does he?
No, he doesn't. No, he fights like a well-seasoned vet, you know, and a well-rounded, talented mixed martial artist. I'm very impressed with him.
He could be one of the most vicious guys in the UFC in a year, couldn't he?
So George St. Pierre was talking to us about him, and George St. Pierre thinks the world of him. And there's a guy who trains with him all the time. Yep, no, go ahead.
We have Shaquille O'Neal on the show this week. All these athletes keep talking about MMA. You know, Ocho Cinco was throwing some comments out. Give Shaq some advice. He's thinking about getting into MMA.
Well, Shaq's one of my good friends, and he's been very good to us and the sport of mixed martial arts. And, you know, Shaq does want to get involved. Shaq's not fighting. You know what I mean? Shaq wants to get involved in the business side of this thing. He's a guy who we have a lot of respect for, so we'll see what happens. Now, Ocho Cinco, been talking a lot of shit. If he saw the fight tonight, he better have a different outlook on Canadians, man. Rory McDonald will ruin his football career. You better stick to playing football. And I'm a Patriots fan, so do your thing over there and stay out of this. You know, I can't tell if this guy likes attention, which we know he does, or if he really believes what he's saying, because he's called out Anderson Silva too.
What do you think about John Fitch? Because you mentioned Rory McDonald. He said he only wants to fight champions and ex-champions. And then BJ, they said no one wants to see that fight. What's next one?
You know, what guys want to do and what's going to happen are two different things. You know, if we can give him all champions and ex-champions, we'll see. I mean, he's going to have to fight who we say he's going to fight.
Can you talk a little bit about Hamill? It's been a couple fights now where he hasn't looked the same.
Yeah, well, you got to give him the credit that he just fought Rampage and, you know, didn't do horrible in the Rampage fight, considering he's fighting, you know, I still think Rampage is, you know, one of the best light heavyweights in the world. Tonight was a big tell. I mean, he got beat up tonight. He looked outmatched tonight. So.
Do you think he'll get another fight or is just going to make play?
I don't know. It's hard for me to sit here tonight and decide what's going to happen to certain guys. He doesn't know either. It's tough to know the night of. You know, you gotta take the weekend and go back to the office. We talk, we go back and forth. You know, it's not one guy's decision. You know, it's me, Joe, and Lorenzo to sit down and do this stuff.
Any sort of preliminary thoughts on what would be a proper next step for Tito?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, let Tito take some time off, and it's good to get this light heavyweight division going again, get a title fight September. Vitor just fought, and Vitor's ready to go again, so he's 85 though. But Machida's looking for a fight. Rashad's back in the mix now. I mean, the log jam is over.
Dan Henderson.
Could be Dan Henderson. Yeah, Dan Henderson's in the mix. Still got me and old Ugly got to get together and talk and figure stuff out first.
You guys sit down and have one.
Yeah, I texted him. I said, "Hey, Ugly, you ready to talk?" And he said, "Whenever you're ready, Fatso." I don't know if he's retired, but he's definitely a 7 weight divisions above where he normally fights. I don't know what Matt wants to do. You know, I'm just kidding. I love Matt Serra. He's been around for a long time. He's one of the best guys in the sport, personally and professionally. And I don't know. You know, he's loving living his life right now. You know, this guy's got a ton of successful schools all over New York, and has made a lot of money in the UFC, and you know, just had a baby. I mean, life. I want to talk about people that gain weight when they're happy. He's really fucking happy right now. Really happy.
You know, Vitor was trying to drum up interest in it.
It's tough to do. You know, if they went out and had this war back and forth, you know, if it was like the Chael Sonnen Anderson Silva fight, that'd be one thing. You know, but it lasted 35 seconds. Something that Vitor's gonna have to chew on for a while. Vitor's gonna have to beat some people at 85 and then work his way back up to that title shot. Because it'd be hard to make a rematch that quick after what happened. You know. I actually have to get together with Rich Franklin next week. We got to talk.
Is the little long fight still a possibility?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Depends on how long he's out. You know, what we don't do is like a mandatory fight. When Frankie Edgar and Gray Maynard both get hurt, if they're going to heal up and be ready by the same time, that's the fight we're going to do. But when you got a fight like Rich and Little Nog, and you know, we can do something else.
The middleweight fight, the 136, Brian and Chael, is that going to be a #1 contenders match guaranteed, or is it just going to depend on how it goes? Or
You know, I think it should be.
#1 contenders?
We'll see. They're in the mix. There you go. You guys can start answering the questions for me now.
They were showing commercials for the Ultimate Fighter in the upcoming season. They said the debut is going to be 2 hours. Do you know if you guys are doing all the elimination fights in that first episode?
Let me tell you what, and you guys have heard me say when I think a season's going to be a great season, this is a great season. Great season. Never in the history of the show have we done a 2-hour first episode. And that's how good these fights are. And you guys know me and the way that I think and how I am. Do you think I would ever put on a 2-hour, you know, fights to get into the house if the fights weren't amazing? This season's awesome, man. You know, there's a lot of crazy reality stuff, but for me, it's always about, it's from what I see, it's about fights, and great season of fights this season.
It seems like few and fewer guys are kind of getting contracts after the show, like semifinals, quarterfinals. Do you see kind of stocking up some of the decisions because of this?
That's going to happen. I mean, what happens when you do a first season like this, and these guys, if you look at the 35 and 45s, and they've never been in the UFC, and there's never been an Ultimate Fighter down. So we got like the best of the best for this first season of the Ultimate Fighter. I'm excited about it.
Along those lines, Tachi had a pretty big event last night with a lot of the top flyweights. So are you guys any closer? Tachi Towers, right?
Oh.
Are you guys any closer to having that flyweight?
Yeah. Hopefully early next year. Yeah.
135ers might move down.
Yeah, probably. You know, that happens every time we open up a new weight division. You see Kenny Florian fought at 85 in the first season of the Ultimate Fighter, you know? So yeah, you'll see guys move down, I think. You know, you could even see a guy who's a world champion like Frankie Edgar move to 45, you know? It would make sense. I'm not saying he is, or he said he was doing that, but it would make sense.
So if Dennis Allman had won, what would you have done?
Oh my God. Listen, man, I that was as bad I'm seriously pissed off at the guys who work for us that let him walk out with those things on. Like I said, I've never been so embarrassed to be in the UFC as I was back.
Do you actually have some sort of uniform code?
We do now. We do now.
About illegal.
You know what I thought we had? I thought we had some common sense. You know what I mean? At least a little bit of common sense. Yeah, that was a really bad moment. I was horrified by that. You know.
I mean, in the old days of UFC, you used to wear the wrestling tights, and is that really that different?
Well, wrestling tights and what I saw tonight, you know what? Maybe that was a Speedo, but Speedos weren't meant to have a cup the size of a helmet stuffed in them. You know what I mean? I think he was overdoing it on the cup too. It was bad. It was as bad can get. It was, yeah.
Have you guys decided on the next prime time? Are you thinking about maybe GSP and Diaz, or what's the next?
Yeah, it probably would. You know, it'd be interesting getting Diaz to have a camera follow him for more than 10 minutes.
What do you expect promotion-wise from him? Because he's kind of unpredictable. He gets on the conference
It's going to be
call.
very unpredictable. It's going to be very unpredictable, and he is. You know, all I ask of this kid, I don't ask him to say anything special, to change who he is or whatever. But you've heard me say it a million times. Give me that much. Just play the game. do what you're supposed to do professionally, and this will all work out. So.
Do you expect a certain amount of it though? Because that's kind of what makes Diaz Diaz, you know.
Yeah, I expect just as much. It's all I want. It's gonna be that much. I don't ever ask anybody to not be themselves. I don't ever tell people what to say. I don't ever do anything like that. He is who he is, and he can be who he is. But you have to play by some of the rules. You have to.
Dana.
You know.
Sorry to interrupt. If Jim Miller wins next week, is he the next man in line for a title shot?
Yeah, Jim Miller's right there. Yeah, he probably will. Again, for me to say who's going to get it, who's not going to get it, or whatever, but yeah, it makes sense.
How did you decide to make Jim Miller, Ben Henderson the co-main event for that show rather than
I have no idea off the top of my head. I don't know. That was Joe Silva. You guys done with me? Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Gymgrossisten.com